We live in a time where almost everything feels faster, easier, and more available. Yet a huge number of people feel less focused, less satisfied, and strangely less in control of their own minds. You can get food fast, entertainment instantly, a date with a swipe, and a package at your door tomorrow morning. But the more immediate life becomes, the harder it seems to sit still, finish one thing, or want what takes time. It is what happens when an economy learns how to make money from restless attention. Many people frame this as a self-control problem, as if millions of individuals somehow woke up weaker than previous generations. That view lets companies off the hook and treats the system as blameless. If the problem is your discipline, then the product is fine. But many of the products are not neutral tools that happen to be overused. They are built around a simple commercial fact. If a platform can trigger frequent return behavior, emotional arousal, and compulsive checking, it can convert that pattern into revenue. One misunderstanding needs clearing up. Dopamine is not a little pleasure liquid that floods your brain every time something feels good. Dopamine is heavily involved in wanting, anticipation, reward prediction, and learning which cues might lead to something rewarding. It helps stampen the link between a signal and a possible payoff. The issue is not dopamine itself. The issue is what happens when entire industries learn to mass-produce cues that keep that seeking system active all day. Start with a familiar routine. You wake up and check your phone before your feet touch the floor. There might be a message, a market move, a meme, a sale, a match, a headline, a work email, or a notification bubble with no clear meaning until you tap it. Each one is a tiny maybe. Uncertainty pulls hard. A guaranteed reward is pleasant, but an uncertain reward often pulls harder because your brain keeps leaning forward, waiting to see what happens. That is why so many digital products resemble slot machines more than tools. Not because they look like casino hardware, but because they rely on intermittent reinforcement. You pull to refresh, and maybe there is something new. You post, and maybe people approve. You open the app, and maybe the algorithm has found the clip, comment, image, or outrage that hooks you for the next 20 minutes. Variable rewards keep behavior alive longer than predictable rewards. B.F. Skinner demonstrated that in lab animals decades ago, and Silicon Valley turned it into interface design. Infinite scroll removed stopping cues. Autoplay removed the moment where you decide whether to continue. Push notifications turned every pocket into a delivery system for temptation. Streaks transformed ordinary use into a loss avoidance game, where breaking the chain feels worse than the activity itself is enjoyable. Likes, views, and read receipts converted social uncertainty into measurable feedback. Recommendation systems learned your weaknesses at scale, then fed them back to you in real time. This is not only about feeling good. Platforms profit whether you feel good or bad, as long as you stay engaged. Outrage keeps you reading. Envy keeps you comparing. Anxiety keeps you checking. Romantic fantasy keeps you swiping. Fear keeps you refreshing. Tribal conflict keeps you commenting. If an emotional state increases session time, repeat visits, or purchases, it has economic value, whether it improves your life or degrades it. The modern digital economy is not mainly paid for delivering satisfaction. It is paid for maintaining behavioral momentum. A calm, fulfilled person who closes the app quickly is less profitable than a restless person who keeps returning. An app does not need to resolve your insecurity if it can monetize the cycle of triggering it, soothing it, and triggering it again. Boredom becomes a market opportunity. So do loneliness and the half-second gap between one task and the next. The same logic shows up outside social media. Fast food gives immediate sensory reward with minimal effort. One-click shopping collapses the delay between impulse and purchase. Streaming services remove friction between episodes. Mobile games sell microtransactions at moments of frustration or anticipation. Finance apps make markets feel like entertainment, with confetti, alerts, color, and urgency. Convenience and stimulation fused into one model. Reduce delay, increase cues, capture the impulse before reflection catches up. For a viewer who cares about money, productivity, and getting ahead, this is not some soft cultural complaint. It is a direct explanation for why your attention feels taxed before your workday even starts. Fragmented attention has a cost. Every switch from spreadsheet to text message to video to email to price alert leaves residue behind. Part of your mind stays stuck on the last thing. The result is not just distraction in the moment. The result is slower thinking, weaker working memory, more mental fatigue, and less capacity for deep effort. Long-term goals usually pay on a delay. Building a skill, saving money, getting in shape, repairing a relationship, reading a difficult book, starting a business, or doing serious work all require sustained effort before the reward arrives. Cheap dopamine trains the opposite rhythm. It trains the nervous system to expect frequent novelty, rapid feedback, and low-friction reward. Then ordinary life starts to feel flat. Not because ordinary life lost all value, but because your baseline for stimulation has been pushed upward. Boredom tolerance has quietly become a serious advantage. If you cannot endure 10 unstimulated minutes, a lot of meaningful work becomes inaccessible. You reach for your phone at the first sign of friction. You check messages in the middle of writing. You open another tab when a task gets ambiguous. You look for a hit of novelty when effort stops feeling smooth. Over time, the brain learns that discomfort should be escaped, not worked through. There is also a deeper cultural shift underneath all this. Earlier forms of capitalism made money by selling products and extracting labor. That still exists, of course, but a larger share of value now comes from capturing and steering behavior itself. Your pauses, cravings, reactions, and habits are measurable. Your attention can be auctioned, modeled, and predicted. Cheap dopamine became scalable because digital systems run massive reward experiments, compare response patterns, and keep the cues that raise retention even slightly. People have more access to pleasure and stimulation than any previous generation, yet many feel depleted, lonely, numb, and behind. That makes sense once you separate pleasure from fulfillment and engagement from well-being. A person can stay absorbed all day and still end the day feeling empty. A platform can report record engagement while the user reports exhaustion. The metric and the human outcome are not the same thing. The point is not that technology ruined human nature, or that you need to throw your phone into a lake. You are participating in systems that profit when your attention is fragmented, and your desires stay slightly inflamed. The rules of the game reward what is immediate, emotional, personalized, and habit-forming, not what is true, useful, or good for your future self. Once you see cheap dopamine as an economic strategy, a lot of private shame turns into public clarity. Then the question changes from what is wrong with me to what exactly is this machine training me to become?